What if I told you that the biggest myth in real estate investing, the one piece of advice everyone repeats, is the exact thing keeping you stuck and far away from financial freedom? Well, for decades, beginners have been told the exact same thing over and over again. Start small, buy a single family rental, cut your teeth in residential real estate first, and then maybe one day when you're older and richer, you can graduate to commercial real estate. That is a complete myth. In fact, I believe is backwards. I'm Peter, author of Commercial Real Estate Investing for Dummies, and over the last 20 years of teaching beginners nationwide, I have seen the same pattern, right? Commercial real estate isn't just more profitable, it can actually be easier and safer for beginners than residential. So today, I'm going to show you the exact math, the exact logic, and the scale that proves why you should skip residential entirely and start with commercial. So grab your calculator because the math I'm about to show you is going to change the way you look at real estate forever. Let's get started. Let's start here with point number one. And point number one is you do not control the residential value. Okay, that's the first problem. And let's say this is a single family rental here. And how do you value this, right? You value this using sales comps or sales comparables. So the way you value this is if your neighbor's property happens to appreciate that, and then your property will probably appreciate. But also, if your neighbor is a slumlord or doesn't take care of his property and he drives his property value down, guess what? Your property goes down too. Okay, so that's the main problem with generating life-changing wealth with single-family rentals is you don't control the value. Okay, over here on a commercial property, commercial property is defined as 6 units. I mean 5 units and greater. This is a 6 unit, okay? 6 unit property. Its value is determined by its net operating income. I have a video that I'm going to explain a complete breakdown of NOI, okay? Net operating income, which is basically your income minus your expenses equals your net operating income. Okay, so as the net operating income goes up, guess what happens? Your property value goes up and also your cash flow. Okay, so over here on the commercial side, you have control. As to over here on your residential, you do not. That is problem number one. Let's go on to point number two, which is even more convincing. Got questions? Simply text the word Peter to 833-942-4516 and we'll help you. Here we are with point number two. Point number two, which is probably one of the most important pieces that allowed me to retire and leave my corporate job and create massive wealth, not only from myself, but also with our students nationwide. Okay. Point number two is the math of forced appreciation. Okay. So imagine this is the financials of a property. The main focus, as I mentioned a few minutes ago, is the NOI. Okay. As the NOI goes up, as your income goes up, so does your NOI. Another way to increase your NOI is to reduce expenses. Okay. So either way, if you can increase the income or reduce expenses, the NOI will go up. So as the NOI goes up, so does the value. So you are forced appreciating the property. Okay, you're forcing the value up. You can't do that with a single family home. You can spend $30,000 in a kitchen, right? And maybe the value goes up 10,000. Right here, I'm going to show you some pretty cool math. All right. So take a look at my math here. I'll show you on the screen. I have a 6-unit apartment building here, and I'm going to raise the rents by $100 for the 6 units. Okay, so the 100 times 6, that's $600, right? And then you multiply that by 12 months, that equals $7,200 for the year. Here's how the math works, okay? You take this $7,200, which doesn't seem like a lot, right? And you divide it by the market cap rate of let's choose a conservative 6%. So look at the math on the screen. Okay, $7,200. Okay, that's your new NOI increase divided by 6% or 0.06 equals $120,000. All right, so you just increased the value of your building by $120,000 by raising the rents on each unit by $100, and it could have taken you maybe a couple of years to do that. But where else can you create $120,000 by simply sending a letter to a tenant that your rents are going up $100? All right, so that's the power of the math of forced appreciation. This is what will retire you. This is what will create legacy wealth for you and your family. Is this point number two? Got it? All right, let's go on to point number three. All right, here is point number three, which is probably my favorite and lends to the lifestyle that I live now, as well as our other students. All right, so I'm going to give you a situation, and which would you choose? Okay, so on this side of the board, I have 10 single family homes, okay, kind of spread out throughout the city. Okay, so I have 10 different roofs, right, to take care of. I have 10 lawns to mow. I have 10 HVACs to maintain and replace. I probably hit a nerve right there for those of you that own single family homes, because one HVAC on one home can wipe out your entire cash flow for 1 year. Okay, been there, done that. And also for accounting, you have 10 property tax bills to pay, and then you have several locations. Okay, would you choose this over a 10-unit multifamily property? Right? You have one building, one location, one property manager. Okay, I think you know the answer to that one. For terms of scalability, you want to have 10 units under one roof. Now, in terms of management, would you rather have you manage or someone manage all of these properties? How efficient would that be, and how much money would you make, as opposed to hiring a property manager, a professional property management company that manages lots of units to manage your property? What you learn is how to manage the manager. Okay, you manage the property manager, and you are the asset manager, while your third party property management company manages all this. Okay, which one is more efficient? Which one is more scalable? Which one has better management potential? Right? I guess finally, which one lends to you scaling this into a very profitable and lucrative business? So by all means, it's this side. So scalability cannot be beat in commercial real estate. Got it? All right, let's go on to, last but not least, point number four, which drives me crazy. The best time to invest in real estate is always 5 years ago. The next best time is today. Let us mentor you so you can get started investing right now. Click the top corner. All right, point number four behind me is the reason why I invest in commercial real estate and single family no more. All right, here's what happened. I came across a seller who had a single family rental in distress, headed for foreclosure, just days away. I structured a deal that would save them from foreclosure and save them from a downfall of other properties going into foreclosure too, and saving them from a credit mess. Well, when I presented my deal to them and they found out that I was making money from this transaction, they canceled the deal. They didn't want to do it because Mr. Harris is making money from me. How silly is that? Of course I'm gonna make money. I'm a business person. I'm trying to help you, right? I put you first. I'm gonna save your situation. And then because of that, my skill level, I am gonna make money. Well, that person want no part of it. They just want to be saved from the situation and not have somebody make money off of them. So that day was a day that I quit single family rentals because I thought that was so silly, didn't make any sense. So I needed to find something else that made more sense, and I found commercial real estate. Okay, so in residential, it is deeply emotional. Okay, they're selling their memories. They're concerned about the colors of the carpet, the walls, and negotiations can be quite emotional. Okay, quite intensely emotional. On the other hand, for commercial, it is a business. It's a business transaction. You're going to understand what the seller wants, and you're going to structure a deal that meets the seller's goals. Okay, and you're going to focus on the numbers. So my advice, if you are a beginner, you need to understand the math, right, of how commercial real estate works, because that's why seller sells, because the math has to work, not because it's deeply emotional. There's no deeply emotional ties to their commercial property. It is a business transaction. So point number 4 drove me crazy, and I'm sure you can relate to it. All right, so this explains why you should consider skipping residential and going straight into commercial real estate, right? So if you want to learn more about commercial real estate, I have a link from my free book. Just download it and learn about commercial real estate. If you want to learn more about, I have a course, a free course. The link will appear on the screen too. Take the course and learn about it. All right? Okay, thanks everyone. If you hung out with me this long, I appreciate you so much. You are absolutely my favorites, and I'll see you at the next video. Would you like to work with me? Every successful commercial real estate investor has a mentor. Learn more about my Protégé program right here.